So there's a new open source image model in town. It's called Boogu-Image-0.1. And honestly, it's pretty impressive. It's fully open source under Apache 2.0, so you can use it commercially. And here's the thing. It comes in 3 different variants. You've got Base, which is your go-to for high-quality text-to-image generation. You've got Turbo, which uses something called DMD distillation to generate images in under a second on an H100. And then there's Edit, which lets you take an existing image and modify it with natural language. 3 models, 1 unified family. So what makes Bugu special? Let's start with the efficiency. This model is only 10 billion parameters. But on the Qwen-Image-Bench, it scores 53.58. That beats Qwen-Image-2 1512 at 20 billion. It beats Qwen-Image 3.0 at 80 billion. So it's outperforming models 2 to 8 times its size. And it's completely open source. The only models sitting above it are GPT-Image 2 and Nano Banana Pro. Both closed source, both using way more compute. Now the architecture itself is also interesting. It uses a unified multimodal framework, so it understands images and generates them in the same pipeline. That means better prompt alignment, more coherent compositions, and bilingual text rendering. Chinese and English, straight out of the box. Oh, and the turbo variant, 4 steps. That's it. You can be generating at near real-time speeds on consumer hardware. The edit variant also preserves non-target areas automatically when you modify an image, which is honestly a nice touch. One more thing I appreciate. The Bugu team mentioned they actually stopped optimizing for public benchmarks early on. They shifted focus to real user feedback instead. Most teams chase leaderboard numbers. They chose to chase usability. Links to the weights, GitHub, and online demo in the description. Let's get into the installation and walkthrough. Okay, so let's check out how to install this in ComfyUI locally. On the Hugging Face Bugu official repo, all 6 of these are going to be used for Python inferencing. This is usually what I use for model training, so let's see when they have some model trainer pipeline coding or whether AI Toolkit already supports this image model. We'll check out how to run that in AI training later. Now the ComfyUI repo, this has all the files we need to run ComfyUI inferencing. We've got the diffusion model, LoRa, text encoder, and VAE. As you can see, the VAE is using Flux1. So if you've already downloaded the Flux1 VAE before for other image models, then you don't have to repeat that process. Same thing with the text encoder, Qwen-3VL. I've already downloaded this one for generating text from images, so it's already covered. The only thing I need to download is the diffusion model. Now the LoRa models here, this is for the turbo model. If you're using the base model and you want to bring it down to low sampling steps like the turbo does, but you don't want to download another 12 or 20 gigabytes just for the Bugu-Image Turbo Diffusion model, then you can download the Turbo LoRa to enable the base model to run at low sampling steps. And the Bugu-Image-Edit, this is the image editing feature for Boogu-Image-0.1. So I've basically downloaded all 3 types of models and put them into the diffusion models folder. Let's refresh here. So this page here, we've got the text-to-image generation workflow. And basically, this is really easy to connect as a basic foundation of how you run a text-to-image workflow using Bugu-Image. And I'm using the Bugu-Image Turbo to try that out in here. So you load the models here, and if you're running GGUF models, then you can use the GGUF loader and run the GGUF types of models and connect that purple dot to the K-sampler. But since I don't use GGUF for this model, I'll just stick with the original workflow flow with the diffusion model. Here I have a very simple text prompt. Yeah, the turbo model is running really fast. Let's say I just change a little bit of the color of that image, run it again. It's really similar to Z-Image Turbo in terms of the speed of that generation, and this one, 10 billion parameter model, is about the same image quality as what the others are generating. Now, as you can see, these were some of the images if you're generating with different sampling steps and sampling methods. It will look a little bit awkward for the turbo model. So for the turbo model, I'm using LCM for sampling, and the scheduler using SGM uniform in this K-sampler node. That was the most stable way of creating an image using the turbo model. So I also tried that out with the base model. Let's paste this and run it with the Bugu-Image base model here. I'll be using the same text prompt from the turbo and bring it to the base model and run this again. As you can see, I'm going to set this one to higher sampling steps. Usually it's 30 to 50 from the official repo settings. In ComfyUI, you can start with 20 steps, 25 steps, or 30 steps. It depends how long it's going to take. The image quality and overall generation from the turbo model to the base model, there's a little difference, of course, with different varieties. The base model actually, the skins and details look more natural than the turbo models. In the turbo models, the character is kind of having too shiny skin. Not too plastic, but a little more shiny than usual. For the normal base model, the character face seems more natural going on. Yeah, so that's kind of normal. Because, the base model is mostly focusing on the higher sampling steps, which, in theory, the higher sampling step you have, the better quality you get. Let's try out multi-character. That will be showing a lot of difference. So I'm going to create a multi-line here with the same text prompts, and then connect both image generations with this text prompt. The output of this round, the text prompt is a group of friends, diversified with different kinds of people. But then, in the turbo model, all you have is just one race of people. And in the base model, you can see there's different races of people in this group of friends, which is following the text prompts more, which is kind of normal because, again, the base model has more data sampling steps, etc., to create your image. So next one I'm going to try is text on image display. Like, for example, I want to create a poster, something that simulates the event poster we are seeing. And let's compare both of the outputs in here. So text on image can be generated just like what Z-Image did. For both results, let's bring it side by side. On the left here, we've got the turbo. There's almost perfect text, but just some gibberish on this part. The AI submitted words are a little bit mixed up in this text. For the base image model, overall I see the letter text has not been creating gibberish or mixed up. The spelling is fine. So the performance of generating a poster like this, if I'm going to use these models to do this kind of work, I'll be choosing the base model, obviously. The confidence rate of creating a successful image like this is going to be better than the turbo model. So how am I going to use the turbo model? Well, sometimes if you have multiple sampling passes, you can use the base model, or alternatively, use the turbo model for faster generation. But then if you use the turbo model, you'll basically have a lower quality image. But if you have 2 sampling passes, that will make it balanced to create a better image. In this case, I have 2 passes. The first pass is going to be text to image, where you see this input text. And the second pass here, a very typical way I usually do, is using the image to image method, where we have another sampling here. In this case, I'm using the base image. Let's generate one time, and you'll see that this image model also supports image to image, which I already connected here for inferencing. For example, I have a cartoon character like this, where I use text to image for the first round. Second round, using image to image, where it also works with a little more detail, additional 20 steps in the second pass. Therefore, you see there will be a little bit of change since I put the denoise very low. Just want to enhance the image a little sharper in this case. Now, by the way, this image model tends to have a lot more denoising. Even with the turbo model, I tried that before. So, I suggest if you use a second pass like this, keep it not over 0.5. The noise will be ideal for the image-to-image second pass refinement. Otherwise, it will change a lot more of the output image. So in this case, I'm going to take this image and use the turbo model. So I'm going to swap this one to the turbo, as well as the sampling. I'll bypass the base model, and we're going to use the turbo model. And then we wire that up to the second pass as well. Here I have the turbo model with turbo sampling steps and method, connected with also the second pass here using image to image. As you can see, I'm putting the denoise very low in this one as well, to try it out if this is able to do image to image with additional detailing. And you see there's adding more detail for this character using the turbo model as well. The anime styles, cartoon styles are getting stronger, sharper on every little single thing in the image. So the turbo model is good for running multi-sampling passes. Even you can mix this with the base model. Let's say the base model has more varieties of image generation. Even with the same text prompts, you can create more detailed stuff in the first pass, and then use the turbo model as the second pass for running the sampling. And the next thing I want to talk about is the image edit model. This is the most fun thing I like to play with for image generation, since now we have editing models that can create almost identical images, but you just want to remove some items or add extra items to your existing image. For example, I have this character, and I can just say remove jacket, and it will create an almost identical image here. Same character, same pose, with the jacket removed. As you can see really clearly, this image generation edit model is quite impressive for a 10 billion parameter model. The texture of overall everything can be followed almost the same as the original image. This kind of 3D-ish style character, it's doing okay for the texture, staying the consistency, as well as some pattern on the pants and some pattern on the skin, able to replicate identically the same. Compared with Qwen-Image-Edit, if I use Qwen-Image-Edit before doing similar tasks, you'll see the texture is gone in some details. Especially on like a street road or the concrete wall, those kinds of textures cannot transfer to the new image. So another example in here. Let's say I have this image that was generated before, and I want to do a music video style. I want to create another character in here. First of all, you can use a text prompt to create a character or use a second image as another character reference. In this case, I'm going the fast way, just using text prompts for adding another character. So another character here. As you can see, the reference image for this one, first of all, looks like this. All the texture can be very clearly seen in the image. When I slide it to the right side here, you see the extra character is added into this image. And overall, the other elements have not changed at all. Well, there's some little detail changes. For example, like this old music player kind of changes a little bit, and some wall pattern is almost identically the same with here. So this image edit model is quite good. I personally checked out most of this model when Boogu-Image-0.1 launched. Not saying that the text-to-image or image-to-image is bad, but the image edit model weights are quite interesting. That with a very small size model, you can basically retain so many textures from the original source image. And the new adding elements, like in this case, it's very naturally adding a person dancing in front of the camera. That's quite impressive with a small size model like this. And another example like this one, not only adding or editing one single element, I can even put multiple items into an existing image like this. So you see, it's not just adding another person or doing some other things. Mostly I want to add some extra accessories, outfit into the character. And the most challenging for this image, although you see it's kind of a dirty, dark street, the challenging thing is the graffiti behind here. For other image generation models for image editing, most likely I will see the pattern of those bricks and walls will change. And in this one, it does not happen too much. I would say it does change a little, but not too much. And then the challenging part for this is the concrete on the floor. Where I used Qwen-Image-Edit before, it's going to lose all this dust and rusty texture on the concrete, where now it's able to retain those, even through the image editing process, and have the retention of all my original image texture elements. And the only thing we need to do, and most likely what we want from image edit models is, if we require just adding accessories or changing clothing styles, and this image model is able to do something like this. So for open source image models, 10 billion parameters, I think it's quite good for doing image editing tasks. And later on, I believe if the community creates other LoRa models with additional styles for this, then it will be even way better. So another way of creating scenes that a lot of AI video work will need is that we have a background and a character. This time, I'm just using a character reference image without a character sheet. This way, I can have a simple text prompt like this, where it now becomes like this. Of course, there's some loss of data and details of that reference character just by one pass. It is what it is for lots of image editing models based on the reference image. So therefore, we might need to have additional passes where we can get more details, especially the character face, because now this is a far shot. Usually, image models with a close-up shot or a face close-up shot will get good output results for the character face. So in this way, you can overcome this. Get like a close-up shot to have a clear picture of how that character looks. Otherwise, if you do a far shot like this, then you'll have the character with that garden as the background. And this is another angle of that garden, from the reference image as well. So it's sometimes hit and miss for image edit, not exactly the expected result that you'll have. There's trial and error. Different text prompts will create different output results. Well, this is sometimes what we have to try several times for such image editing. And actually, this image model has already retained a lot of elements with the reference image, such as in this case. Now I get a close-up shot of that character, and now it's getting better. Put that side by side with the reference image, two of them. Here we've got the backgrounds where the character from the first image is standing in the middle of exactly what I mentioned in the text prompts. And I was getting a close-up shot. So therefore, we got a very identical character in that new generated image. As you can see, the hairstyles, even the facial recognition, very identical with my reference image. And then the outfit is the same leather jacket, etc. The backgrounds in here now change to a close-up shot, obviously. But the pattern of how the AI model is learning that garden, how those styles of grass and decorations, is very identical styles. And because this is a reference image, not exactly the image-to-image way of making this image, therefore it will have a little difference. Like for example, those decorations on the back in the reference image here will be a little bit of difference in the generated output. But the pattern of how those decorations in the garden looks like, the AI model tries to replicate those patterns as well. So yeah, that is overall what this image model can do, something that overall most of the common use cases can be done with this AI model, and the texture from this AI model, I see some people will claim that it's plasticky or something. It might happen if you set the wrong K-sampling settings. So try it out with different sampling settings, and you'll be getting different results. So yeah, that is it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.